uh, to suggest that maybe hypergamy is outdated is it's not realistic. It's not realistic because by nature, women are biologically wired to look for men who are doing better than them. This is just nature. You cannot unwire people. And that's what we argue with most of these shows, is that we want women to try to think logically like men, which they can't. And I've been to a lot of countries, and women, every single country, everywhere you go, women think just as irrational as they do in this country. Their makeup is the same, just like ours is. Just like ours is. Just like women argue the point that men should not cheat, men should stay with one woman. Men have never done that in no country ever. Since the beginning of time, no man has done that, and no man has wanted to do that, because that's not what we wired to do. We can't. It's almost impossible. If you put that in his face, or if you put the ability to get a man that makes a lot of money in a woman's face, she's going to take the man who makes the good money, even if he's a piece of crap. And as a matter of fact, I argue that the piece of crap guy that makes a lot of money is even more attractive to the woman if he's a piece of crap and he makes a lot of money. This guy's Prince Charming. And nothing I'm saying is a lie. He's Prince Charming, is a piece of crap, and he makes good money. If it wasn't the case, I'd be out of business.
I wanted to talk about hypergamy, or leveling up, and what role hypergamy may play in holding women back and keeping women single and lonely. So throughout human history, marriage has never been about love. I mean, this concept of marrying for love is fairly new in human history. It's about 500 years old. Prior to that, marriage was always about economics. It was a way to ensure financial stability of the woman's family. This is why parents tend to marry their daughters off to men of means, wealthy men, men who had high status in society, because it allowed the family to climb the social ladder. This is kind of what's known as marrying up. This is the practice of hypergamy. So hypergamy being the practice of looking to a man of higher economic status, social status, or economic status to marry, feels a bit anachronistic or it's outdated, right? Because, given the fact that women make up more than half the workforce today, women across the board get more degrees, earn more degrees than men. Black women earn more degrees than black men. White women earn more degrees than white men. And the wealth gap or the wage gap between men and women, even though there's still a wage gap, somewhat of a wage gap, it's shrinking. And lastly, women, as they tell us all the time that they don't need us, well, at least financially, that is somewhat true, right? That they don't really need us financially. So given that, we just discussed all these things, right? Doesn't it seem like this dogmatic hold on hypergamy is outdated and keeping women single and lonely? Because I can tell you personally, I've had a friend making six figures and refused to deal with a guy who makes $70,000. I've heard women who have master's degrees and refuse to talk to men who only have bachelor's degrees or don't have any degrees at all. And I'm just saying, if society has changed and women are pretty much equal as men, why still hold on to this antiquated idea of hypergamy if you need a man, and you have a good man. He just happens to make $20,000 or $30,000 less than you. Ms. T, I'll start with you. Why are women holding on to this outdated practice of hypergamy?
Well, I'll answer first what you just said. Why not have a man that makes 20,000 less than you? Because some men are, I don't want to use the word intimidated, but they do have a problem with that. They may say in the beginning that they don't. Notice I said some, I didn't say all, because I don't like to use all, never, always, those type words. Because it could make them feel, I guess, less of a man, or like she's the one that can make all the decisions and things of that sort. So I wouldn't want to be in a situation like that if I can kind of already sense that from the beginning. For me, it doesn't matter far as what the income is. So my thing, okay, so you're saying leveling up. What is your purpose of being in this relationship? Are you leveling up to be a Beyonce and Jay-Z? I mean, like, why does the income matter if you just want to have a good man?
Yeah,
if you want love, if that's what you're looking for, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, you need to tell that to some of your sisters out there, because it seems to be something that I don't know. It's to me, it's almost like they're just checking off a box, right? Before I move on to,
and you're not moving nowhere.
No. Before I move on, the rig, right? You said something about men being intimidated.
Said I didn't want to use that word, but that was the only word I could figure out. I know when you guys hear that word,
it's fine.
The whole thing.
It's fine because we hear it a lot. I mean, as men, we hear that, women think that we happen to be intimidated. I happen to totally disagree. I don't think a man cares about your academic level. I don't think a man cares about how much money you make. I think a man is more concerned with, if she makes this amount of money, is she going to treat me like a flunky? Right?
Yeah.
Am I going to be a man in the house? Because at the end of the day, the most important thing, what a man wants, is to know that his woman values him, that he is respected and appreciated. And if your salary is what dictates the amount of respect that you receive, then why would a man willingly put himself in that situation? Stedman Graham is worth $10 million. Oprah Winfrey is worth $2.5 billion. I don't think Stedman is intimidated by Oprah. And they've been together for almost 4 decades. Serena Williams is worth has a net worth of $210 million. Her husband has a net worth of $30 million. He would have been a billionaire if he didn't sell his shares early, but he's worth $30 million. I don't think that he's intimidated by her success and how much money she makes. So I just wanted to address that, because you hear that a lot from women, and I vehemently disagree. Rick, why do you think women today are still holding on to this practice? If they're independent and they're getting the bag and they're making just as much, and in some cases when you listen to black women, they say that they're doing better than black men. If that's how they feel, then why is it important for them to marry a man who has equivalent or higher degree or equivalent or higher salary? Your thoughts?
My thoughts, Abe, is it's all cap. Let me just go ahead and use the street slang. It's all cap. It's lies, bro. They say, you said that in some cases you agree they don't need a man for his money. But this is a lie, because they always looking up, right? So if they got enough money and they don't need a man for his money, then they wouldn't need a man with money. They could just go get Joe Schmo that work at the dollar store, right? It wouldn't even matter. It's all cap. Because if a woman make $200,000, she gonna want to live a $500,000 life, so she still need a man for his money. That is a lie. They're gonna always put themselves in a position to need a man for his money, because very few women live within their means. Now you got a few exceptions. Some women are business people and they busy running businesses and they getting the bag, the real bag. I ain't talking about 100,000, 200,000. I'm talking about they really out here getting money. I can't speak on them, and it will be pointless to speak on them because they are not the norm. All that other stuff is lies, man. They need money, and with you, Abe, men are not intimidated by women and their degrees. I mean, your level of education, your degrees, or your money. What we are is tired of hearing about it. You know, if you gotta remind a man that you gotta, if he say turn right and you say turn left and you say, I know you need to turn left because I got a degree in geography, he don't want to hear that. You know, he just wants somebody who won't ride with him. Mm-hmm. You messing up the ride for him. And, man, just, I've been in those situations too, where people said I was intimidated because the girl I was dating was making more money than me. I wasn't intimidated. She just wanted to do things that I couldn't do. Mm-hmm. So I just was like, we might as well break up because you want to do things that cost too much. And if I made the type of money that she made, I still wouldn't do those things because, I mean, I'm just watching her just, you know, she's just going to spend every dime that she made. And I wasn't with it. Yeah. And I see a lot of women who don't have her type of budget or didn't have her type of budget, and they wanted to live like that too. And so it just didn't make sense for me to be with somebody. I tell people all the time, I'd rather date somebody who has a minimum wage job all the time, flat out. Just way easier to deal with. The things that they want to do, I can do, and I don't have to worry about it. I get to dating a six-figure woman. She want to take 6 vacations a year abroad, and then anything in the continental United States, they don't even consider a vacation. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got dimes for that. I ain't got time for that. Not going to do it. And I'm especially not going to do it with somebody I'm just dating. The budget for people that you just dated now is ridiculous. That's crazy. I'm not doing that, man. You got to be my wife before I start spending that type of money. That's crazy. I'm not doing that for no dates. You about to be gone tomorrow. I'm not doing that.
So, Hanifa, your thoughts, or do you need me to repeat the question? You want me to repeat the question?
No, I was off.
Yeah, did you, don't you think that the ideal of hypergamy is a little bit outdated? I mean, I understand. Well, I don't want to, because I feel like these are raised points, and I know he has points to make. But do you feel that they're a little outdated, especially if you say that there are not enough men out there, right? We know that there's a high sex ratio. We know that there's mass incarceration. Then I don't know. I think that to say that if a man has a bachelor's degree and you have a master's degree that you can't talk to him, don't you think that these women are pricing themselves out the market?
My response. Okay, so I'm gonna reel it into the Black collective in this society. For the Black collective in this society, hypergamy is a luxury, okay, for us in this society. And the reason why I say that is because this idea of, okay, if we're looking at the numbers and we understand the average that a lot of our men and women too, by the way, are making, you're looking for a needle in a haystack oftentimes, okay? So I think that as a Black woman, I'm just going to speak as a Black woman here, we really need to be realistic about our expectations. We need to read the room, okay? We need to read the room, all right? So, because oftentimes we are trying to inject stuff into our experience that just doesn't fit right? We want, okay, so I actually was going to say this to what you guys said. Men don't care about that stuff. That is a fact, right? That is a fact. And so it goes back to my point about you are investing all of them. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with you acquiring these things. There's nothing wrong with that. But you spend all this time doing all of this. And the reality is it's for you, mama. It's for you. Because the man that you're going to meet don't give a damn about that stuff. There's a reason why rich men end up marrying their nannies and their secretaries. There's something to be said about it. Because oftentimes those women in those positions are offering them what they actually want in a relationship. They're servicing them. They're meeting their needs. What do you need? What do you need me to do? They're showing up. They're supporting their visions, right? You know what I'm saying? Think about what a nanny does. Think about what a secretary does. Like, think about those things, okay? And that man makes all this money. He marries her and he levels her up. So over and over, I don't know how many times we have to be shown this. And men are telling us this. Our men are saying to us, we don't care about that. I'd rather you invest time, right, and energy into healing yourself and building yourself up, right, so that when we connect, you don't bring chaos into my life. I'd rather you spend the money on that than acquiring all of these things that are not really necessarily building you up as a person. It's building your kingdom, but is it building you up as an individual and as a person? What type of self-work are you doing so that when you connect with a man, right, you're not bringing drama and chaos into that person's life? And again, I don't want to go into, because I hate when we do, because I was almost tempted. I'm just letting y'all know. But I'm practicing not doing that, to where the conversation is at women, and then women say, but men. Mm-hmm. I almost went there, right? But we're talking about women, so I'm going to reel myself in. But yes, the hypergamy piece, like looking for a man to make a certain amount because you are on a certain financial level. Like, what you're doing is that when you look at the numbers, you're decreasing your option pool. You really are, you know, because most of the times, the type of men that make that type of money, y'all are snatching, they're being snatched up. Let's talk about the video that went viral with the young lady and what was it, a physicist or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
At NASA.
Oh, she rejected him.
That's a good example of that. So she's young, she's 25, Lori Harvey, okay? And so the brother is like, you know, he was nervous. He's telling her what his resume is. This is what I do. And you know, for her, it's like, yeah, but you don't, you know, you're not fun. You don't seem fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, he's telling you this is what I can offer. This is how I can add to your life. And all you got is, you sound boring. That's all you got. That's it. You know what I'm saying? He's not asking you, are you a boss, babe? He's not asking you none of those things. So there's a lot of conversation. And that's why I keep saying, as women, we are just dishonest. We're just dishonest. And we find this out very much later. And I don't know why, because the men are telling us right now. Why are we waiting until 40, 45, 50 years old to realize that men don't care about that? They don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? And if they do, if you find a man that's really concerned about what you bring, what you could do for him, he's a bum. He's a bum. Okay, he's looking for you to support him. Most men who are about their business, doing what they gotta do, they're not concerned and obsessed about, oh, so you're gonna get this certification or what? So you could start making more money. You know, for me, it's Black people in general. We really need to start thinking about, in the sense of what. Okay, so when we combine our income, what does that look like, right? Also, can we live on one income if that time comes? Because I'm very big on, we need to do a better job of somebody being present for our children, right? Where you have one person hustling and bustling, and then the husband, and they're not getting home until 6, 7 o'clock at night. The children are kind of left to their own vices. Somebody else is programming, indoctrinating, teaching, practically raising your child. I don't believe in that. So I do believe in, maybe combined incomes and planning children, right? Now I believe that in planning children. And when I said, I mean, you have two combined incomes, you guys could be saving up. And it's like, okay, so they should be able, we have a little extra cushion for the next couple of years for me to be home with the child, maybe for the first 2 or 3 years if I want to be home with the child. I believe in that. So yes, hypergamy to me is a luxury oftentimes for us that exist in this society. And I only say that because I'm speaking to the numbers. It's unrealistic. It is unrealistic to, you think just wishing it is just going to happen. Majority of the men aren't making the money that you're talking about, that you're looking for. Majority of the men. And does that mean that because he doesn't make that type of money that he's not a good man? So do you want a good man or do you want a man with fat pockets? Because you can get the man with fat pockets and he could be whooping your tail every chance he gets. You know what I'm saying? Or he could be mistreating you. So do you want a good man? Or are you just looking to see what he makes and what he can give you? So that's my response to that. It's a luxury in this society for Black people. We have to go beyond that. We can't be thinking just within those confines because I think it's keeping us back.
Mm-hmm. Good thoughts. I'm going to go to Ray and then I'm going to come back because there are a couple things that you said that I want to follow up. Ray, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, first of all, to ask a woman to suggest that maybe hypergamy is outdated it's not realistic. It's not realistic because by nature, women are biologically wired to look for men who are doing better than them. This is just nature. You cannot unwire people. And that's what we argue with most of these shows is that we want women to try to think logically like men, which they can't. And I've been to a lot of countries and women, every single country, everywhere you go, women think just as irrational as they do in this country. Their makeup is the same, just like ours is. Just like ours is. Just like women argue the point that men should not cheat, men should stay with one woman. Men have never done that in no country ever. Since the beginning of time, no man has done that, and no man has wanted to do that because that's not what we wired to do. We can't. It's almost impossible. If you put that in his face, or if you put the ability to get a man that makes a lot of money in a woman's face, she's going to take the man who makes the good money, even if he's a piece of crap. And as a matter of fact, I argue that the piece of crap guy that makes a lot of money is even more attractive to the woman if he's a piece of crap. And he makes a lot of money. This guy's Prince Charming. And nothing I'm saying is a lie. He's Prince Charming, is a piece of crap, and he makes good money. If it wasn't the case, I'd be out of business. That's just a fact. You have to understand that these things that women do come automatic to them. So to tell them that it's outdated to do, that's like saying it's outdated to sleep with multiple women to men. That don't even make sense because, we argue so much nature, man. This all the responses that we hear from women when we talk to them, you can pretty much say that if we ask 100 women these same questions, a lot of women will respond pretty much the same way. There will always be exceptions to every single rule. But the greater majority of women will respond this way, and the greater majority of men will respond this way. That suggests there's something innate associated with it. So I don't think women need to try to date down because it will be suggesting that they can do something that's not in their nature to do. It's very hard for them to do it. And if a man comes along and makes a lot of money, he can take her from that man. It's just what it is.